Hi, welcome to my channel Ruby Net Crochet Tejido. Today I'm going to teach you how to crochet and knit this beautiful sweater. It's a crochet and knit combination. It's absolutely gorgeous, very easy to do. It's for William. I hope you guys like it and give it a try. And here is the list of material you're going to need to make it. If you are not already a subscriber, please subscribe and click on the little bell. That way you get notification each time I upload a video. Remember, I make my videos in Spanish and English. If you're seeing a Spanish video and you want to see that video in English, go to the main page of my YouTube channel. You'll find the English version in there. Also, you can send me a message and I can send you the link. For this design, these are the material I'm going to use. This one is Red Heart Super Saver Stripe. Medium 4, 100% acrylic. It's a preppy stripe. This one are the loops and thread impeccable, medium 4, 100% acrylic. This one is aqua, this one is soft taupe, and this one is true gray. The crochet hook is a 5mm. You're gonna need some netting needle. This one is from my Shagu set. It's a 6.5mm. Buttons, and you're gonna need tapestry needle and scissors. So I have my grannies here already almost done. What I did, I grabbed one of these, my crochet hook, and I started doing 3 round granny square, and I have the rest of the colors in here for another project, the pink ones and the more bright orange. And then William liked this color, and then I decided to grab 8 of these centers to do his sweater. First I did the 3 round with the stripes yarn, and then I did one with the taupe, and then with the aqua, and then the gray. The gray gonna be the main color. I already have them ready. You see, I only have to undo a little piece and attach it here and so on. So I start watching TV and doing this, and then after it's much easier just to start attaching them all. The measurements of this granny square is 7.5 inches by 7.5. That is 19 centimeters by 19 centimeters. So I'm gonna show you the first 2 rounds in one of these, no matter the color that come out, because I don't want to use it because I already have my 8 centers ready. I'm gonna start with the magic circle. I'm gonna do the small one. It's asked to do a slip knot, but I don't gonna pull the tail, so I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna chain 3, yarn over, and 2 double crochet, 1 and 2, for a total of 3 with those chain. 1, 2, 3 chains, 3 double crochet. So if you know how to do your granny square, you can make your 8 granny square, and you don't have to be washing this part. Chain 3. It's just in case a beginner is watching this. 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3, and 3 double crochet in the same space. One, 2, and 3. And this is a good project for leftover yarn as well. So you're going to slip stitch on the 3rd chain, and you're going to pull that tail, and you close that magic circle. And you're going to slip to the chain 3 space. And if you want to do this part, the 3 first round with the blended yarn, you can do that.
let me show you what I mean. Something that is multicolor. You can do that, and then the other ones will be the solid color. 1, 2, and 3, and again 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3 through the 3 double crochet in the same space. You're going to chain 1 and do the same repetition in this corner. I know my knitters must be going crazy because I'm not knitting lately, but this project is a marriage between a crochet and knitting. And if you don't know how to crochet, I'm planning to do a sweater for William, a little bit like the one I did for myself, but mine was closed in the front. For him had to be open because he don't like the sweaters that don't have zipper or buttons in the front. One, two, and 3. So if you don't see that sweater, I'm gonna leave the link in here. You're gonna see a 9. You click on 9, I will bring you to that tutorial. It's a beautiful knitted square sweater in the front. And 1, and again. It's like this one that I have on is with a perfect granny square, but it's the big one. It's just with one big granny square in the front and one big one in the back, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's done with a knit stitch and the 1 by 1 rib on the sleeve. Very easy. I'm gonna leave that link in here as well. It's a beautiful sweater that I have on. So chain 1, slip here, and I will show you one more time here. You're gonna slip again, to the center here, the corner. 1, 2, and 3. Yarn over, 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3. 3 double crochet in the same space. Chain 1, yarn over in the center of the chain 1, 3 double crochet, chain 1 in the corner. So like this, you're going to work on your granny squares. If you're doing like me with one color yarn, you know, like this one, the stripe one, or a blended yarn, the first 3 round, do your 8 3-row or round square, and then after work on the other colors. That's what I did. And like that, you're going to continue working on your square until you have all of them like this. So now I'll show you how to work in this one with the other colors. You see, 2 space in here, 2 space in here. And then we will work on our sweater. Now I'm going to work with this color. I'm going to do my slip knot. And I'm going to come to this corner. I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to do 2 double crochet. And the same way I'm working on this round, I will work the other 2. I'm going to chain 1, yarn over, come to the chain 1 space, 3 double crochet. Has been a while since I worked with this crochet hook. They used to get my hand very tired very quick. But lately I've been working with them and it's no problem. I guess I'm getting used to them. So 3 more double crochet, chain 1 on the corner, 3 double crochet, 1, 2 and 3 double crochet. And like this, you're going to continue all the way around your square. You're going to finish in this space with 3 double crochet, chain 3 and a slip stitch on the 3rd chain. You're going to cut the yarn, lose that tail, and do the same with the other colors. If you like, you can do this like me, that I have all this ready to go. That will be much easier. And then I'm going to work on those 2 with the other 2 colors as well. And I will show you how we're going to start attaching the square and creating this beautiful sweater. Here I have my 8 grannies ready to go. So I'm still deciding which way I'm gonna attach them, you know, like color combination. I was thinking maybe like this, but I don't know. There's too many of the green in here, and only one of those. I decided that I like it better like this for the front. You see the 2 of them the same, and the 2 the same for the front, because that way is like a mirror image. And then for the back, I was thinking more green for the back. One like this, like I was thinking for the back of the piece like this, those 4, and then these 2 for the front, like so. So you can do whatever combination you like, but this is the one I'm thinking of doing for this one. So now I'm gonna attach these 4 together for the back. I'm gonna attach them to each other, and then after I will attach these 2 together and these 2 together for the front. That's what we're gonna do now. So and this one I can finish the square, and so is this one. This one can be, you know, all done, because I'm gonna attach this one to the one on the top. So since I start doing this square, doing the 3 double crochet, and I finish with the 3 chain, I can remove these stitches only until here, attach these 2 together, it will be perfect. I don't have to undo all the half of the square. And so for this one as well, it will be easier. We are almost there. I already attached these 2, recording in Spanish, and look how nice that look like this. If you like, you can sew them together, and instead of doing it with a crochet hook, you can sew them together, or even with a crochet hook you can do a different union here. But I like the way I look like this. So very easy and very fast. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove these from here, and I'm gonna do until here, leaving a chain space. That's why I started this way, that way I don't have to undo half of the square. So there, I'm leaving 1 chain. So I'm gonna come here, let me see, I'm gonna put it like that, exactly the same as the other one, and this one like so. So I'm gonna come here. After you leave 1 chain, you're gonna come to this corner, you're gonna pass your hook, you're gonna pass that loop from the bottom up, and you're gonna do your 2nd chain. Remember, here in the corner you have 3 chains, so this one is the 2nd chain, and then you're gonna chain the 3rd one. You're gonna do a yarn over, and you're gonna work the 3 double crochet in the corner. 1, 2, and 3. You're gonna come to this next space, the chain space. You're gonna pass your hook, and from the bottom up you're gonna bring the loop, and you're gonna chain 1. You're going to do a yarn over, and you go to the next chain space, and you're going to do your 3 double crochet. And again, pass your hook, bring up the loop, and chain 1. Start to look like this. Yarn over, 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3, pass your hook, bring up the loop, chain 1, yarn over, 3 double crochet again, 1, 2, and 3, chain 1, 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3, and again you're gonna come here in this space and you're gonna pass the loop and chain 1, and now we're gonna work on the corner. You're gonna do 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3. You're gonna chain 1, you're gonna pass the loop and the chain 3 space, you're gonna chain 1, chain the number 3, and go to the third chain and do a slip stitch. Pass it to the top and bring it to the bottom and lose that tail, and do the same with the other piece. You will have 2 pieces like this. Once you finish with the 2 pieces, they will look like this. Now I'm gonna grab these 4 and I'm gonna attach these 2 together exactly the same as we did with the other one, and then the third one, it will come in here, and the fourth one in here. You'll have your 4 square for the back like this. So that's what we're gonna do now. Before I continue working, I wanted to mention, if you want to do this just crochet, what you're gonna do is, and instead of attaching these 4 right now, you will continue attaching to this. Let's say this is the front and this will be for the top. So you'll continue working, you'll attach 4 for the length like this and here. And then once you attach these 2, you'll attach the next one to this one and to that one, leaving this open in here for the front, and then the last one in here. So you'll have this, attach these two, and here, and then this open like so. But since I want to do this with some net work as well, and I want to make this a little bit bigger, the squares, I'm going to be doing some work with net and attach them together with net stitches, so it will look much nicer and it will have a little bit of both work. So I just wanted to mention that just in case you guys want to do this all crochet. Now for this one in the center, you see where you have that chain that you didn't between these two, you're gonna pass through that chain, and you're gonna bring this loop up through there and chain one, chain the next one, and do the slip stitch on the third chain, and you done these three. Now for number 4, you'll lose that tail. Now for number 4, what you're gonna do, or what I have to do is I have to undo my square until this corner. I will start attaching in here. When I get to this point in the same space, I will pass the loop, and then I will finish in here, and I'm done my 4 squares. Once you finish, you will have your pieces like this, your 3 pieces. So the plan that I have is I'm gonna use a smaller size needle, just I think the 5.5, just to pass the cable, and then after I will change to this 6.5. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work the seat stitch for a few rows in this side, the same in the other side, the same on the back, in the back, just to give it a little extra size and width for William, that way it'll last longer. And then I will do the same here on the top for the length. I will work a little bit on the top on each side, these two separate, and then these, you know, together. And after that, and then I will start working attaching them, and I will do some work here in the front for the front of the cardigan or the sweater, and then I will do the 1 by 1 rib on the lower part to be a little more smaller. That's the plan that I have. Let's see how this will come out at the end. If you're doing this, just crochet and you attach this on here, you'll have this open. So you will attach these two together and leave a space for the sleeve, and then you'll work on the sleeve. It will be totally different if you do this all crochet and if you do this, what I'm gonna do with knit. So I'm gonna work a little bit of camera, getting one side ready. That way I know the amount of row, the amount of stitches, and all the stuff that I will do, and then I will come back to explain the other side. I just show you how I cast on the stitches on the needle. I had to attach two cords together because the long cable that I have for this needle I'm using in another project that I'm doing. And William give me a rush on this one. He asked me almost every day, Mommy, are you working on my sweater? Mommy, are you working on my sweater? So I start working on his sweater. First, I'm gonna count how many stitches I have here. That way I can keep track for both front side. I decided to go this way because I will work the top and the side at the same time. And I placed two markers here because I'm gonna do increase in here. That way it's flat, no gather here, because I will create a pouch if I don't increase in order to continue. Like here, we always are increasing in the corners, like it start to more and more. That's why it get flat. So we had to do some increase. That's why I place markers in here in between these chain space. So here in the corner you have 3 chains. So the one in the center is the one in the center between the markers. That's where I'm gonna do the increases. So I'm gonna come here and start working in this side at the seed stitch, and then I will do the same for the other one. I just wanted to show you how I'm doing this side, because the other one is a little bit different when you work on this side. The other one is, you see, the other way. I finished this side. So what I did, I cast on all the stitches, and from this border to the marker that I have here, I have 52 stitches, and in this top I had 26 without counting the one in the center. I work 4 rows back and forth. That's why you see the little yarn overs here for the increase, and that was in the 4 rows. And then in number 5 I only work 32 stitches, and then I came back and did those 32 stitches in row 6, 7, and then 8 I cast off or bind off my stitches, and I left a tail there. The 23 stitches here, I place them on a piece of string. That way I can cast them on when I do the sleeve. That is counting the center, 22 plus this one in the center here. Okay, and these ones on the top with my crochet hook, I cast off the stitches. It's like this. It's not that stretchy. That's perfect for the top. And the last stitch, because I was casting up with us doing a chain, the last one I placed there a stitch marker to hold that last stitch. That way when I work on the front, I will have that one ready to go. So now I'm going to work on the other part. It look a little bit weird, but this will work out at the end. So for this side, I'm going to cast on the stitches on this side, exactly the same as I show you on the other one. And I already changed needle size. I have here this smaller needle, and I'm going to be working, I started with this one from the bottom up. For this one I had to start from the top down until here in order to work on the right side of our piece. Now with a small size needle, I'm gonna come to the top, and I have this chain 3 space, so I'm gonna start in the center chain and I'm gonna pass the needle through that front strand, taking my time like I did with the other one. And for the top I have to have 26 plus the one in the center, 27, and 52 for the side. But I have to make sure that I have all those stitches here. To start working on this piece, I want to work on the right side, and I cast on this way, and the small size needle is in the opposite end. So I'm gonna change them, these two. That way I start on the right side. I wanted to mention something that I forgot is if you don't have interchangeable needles, I recommend to cast on your stitches with smaller size needles, and then as you knit, change to the bigger size. I'm gonna work, I start here with one knit, one purl, one knit, one purl, one knit, one purl, and this side of the marker I will do the yarn over, and then I will knit the middle stitch, yarn over, and I will continue working the other side. That way we do the 1 by 1 seed stitch. And I use the 6.5 millimeter netting needle because it's the one that give me the right size of stitches compared with the crochet part. It's not pulling, it's not too big, it's not too tight, it's the perfect size of stitches. So I'm gonna start working. I'm gonna grab my yarn, I'm gonna come here, and I'm gonna start later. I will secure the end or the tail, and I'm gonna start with one knit, one purl. Here this got separated. Fix that there. So now I can do my purl. One knit, one purl, one knit, and like that I'm going to continue working until I get to the marker, and I will meet you here to show you how to do the increase and how to continue on the other side. So I have to move the marker to grab the number 26 that was on the other side of the marker. So I finished with the purl, and now we have to increase before we do the center stitch. And the increase is with a yarn over, and when you're gonna yarn over and knit the next stitch, you have to have the strand on the front. So I finished with the purl, I'm gonna leave it here in the front, and then I'm gonna knit the stitch with the strand from the front. You're gonna wrap, you see, on top of the needle, and that create an increase there, one extra stitch in here. So I'm gonna move the marker to mark the center stitch, and again I'm gonna start this, and I'm gonna do a knit in the first one, so yarn to the front, and you're gonna knit that stitch. You see, when you do the knit, you're creating a yarn over the needle and you're increasing a stitch. So now you're gonna yarn to the front purl and then knit and purl knit until you get to the last stitch. And like that you increase to a stitch, one on each side of the center stitch. So I finished with a purl stitch, and since we are doing the seed stitch, we're gonna start exactly with the same stitches that you finish. So you finish with a purl and you start with a purl. And you do a purl and knit, a purl and knit, a purl and knit. And and like that you're going to continue until you get to the marker. You see, it's much easier now to work with the bigger size needle. I'm at the point where I have the yarn over, and I finish here with a net, and then I'm gonna do the yarn over a purl. I'm gonna pass the marker, and this stitch is the center stitch, is a purl on the wrong side, net on the right side, so I have to purl that one. Now this one is the other yarn over, and I finish here with the purl, so I have to do that one and knit to continue with the stitch as I work. I'm gonna remove the marker. I'm gonna pass the stitch in order to place the marker in here, and I'm gonna place it back. That way I mark the center stitch again, one marker on each side. So this one is in net, so I will purl that one and knit the next one, and so on, okay, till I get to the end. And those are the 2 rows that you're gonna repeat one more time for a total of 4 rows. I finished that row with a net stitch, and the same way that you finish, you're gonna start, and exactly the same repetition of row 1. You start with a net, and you work all your way to the other side, and then in the way back, you finish with a net, so you start with a net again. So I'm gonna start with a net here, and then a purl. You always have to make sure that is the opposite of what you see on your work to create the stitch. And you're gonna work like that until you get to the stitch before the marker. You will work the stitch how you're supposed to work that stitch, and then you will do the yarn over. You will knit the center stitch, do the yarn over, work the stitch as you're supposed to, either a net or a purl, and then you continue until the end. You come back, do the same repetition of row 2, and then we done those 2 full rows. I finished the stitch, and that was a net stitch. Now we have to do an increase, and since the middle stitch is a net, you're gonna do the increase by yarn to the front and net the stitch with the yarn from the front, and you see when you wrap around, you increasing a stitch on top of your needle. That's the increase stitch. I'm gonna pass the marker, and now I have a net and I have to do a purl. And to do an increase when you have a purl, you have to wrap your yarn on your needle like so. You see, you bring it to the front, wrap around the needle to bring it to the front again in order to create a yarn over on top of your needle, and then you purl that stitch, and you have your second increase. And then in that purl you will do a net, and then in this net you will do a purl, and so on. So this is the last row of increase. The next row will be like row number 2. You'll work all your stitches as you're supposed to, and then after that we're gonna separate or cast off our stitches here, leave the stitches waiting for the sleeve, and then work in row 5, 6, 7 and cast off an 8 for under the arm. I finished those 4 rows. Now I'm gonna cast off these stitches on the top, and I'm gonna grab a piece of yarn. I'm gonna place 23 stitches, 22 plus the one in the center, 23, and then the rest of the stitches I will work for row 5, 6, 7, and in number 8 I will cast off the stitches. If you are doing this exactly the same size as mine, you will have 32 stitches that you're going to work, and then you will put in a string 23 stitches, and then you're going to cast off 28 for the top. So for mine, since the needle is in here and has to cast off like this to leave that extra stitch in the front and place a marker like this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass those 28 stitches to this piece of yarn, and then with the hook I'm going to cast it up, place a marker at the end, and then grab the same piece of yarn, and I'm going to place here on these 23 stitches and then work in the 32 that I have left. Once you finish, it will look like this. Now we have the 32 stitches, and in order to finish the same way as we did for the other one, I'm gonna start on the wrong side. I'm gonna come here, and I'm gonna grab the strand of yarn, and I have to start with a net. I will lose that tail later. One net, one purl, one net, one purl. You're gonna work the 6th stitch until you get to the last one. You're gonna turn your work around, and you're gonna work row 6 and 7 exactly the same with the 6th stitch, and then a number 8 I will measure here to cast off our stitches. I finished those rows. Now I'm gonna cast off, and to cast off I'm gonna do the stitches as I supposed to do the 6th stitch. So here I have a net, so I'm gonna start with a purl and then net the second one and pass the purl over the net and so on. But you have to continue like you are doing the 6th stitch, but you're binding off or casting off your stitches. Once you finish your 2 pieces, it will look like this. Remember the other one was the one I explained. That was the one that I did first. I started here and I did my 4 rows doing the increase, and then after my 4th, the 5th, I only work until here, and then I work those other ones and I cast off. I placed this 23, and then the same way I show you how I did this, I started here and finished those cast off. Now for the back, once you finish the 2 of them, they will look like this. For the back piece, I'm gonna work off camera because we're gonna do exactly what we did in these 2 separate, but we're gonna do it in one piece. I'm gonna attach the other cable to this one in order to continue my work, to place them all on the needles. I hope you guys have a long cable needle, that way you can pass them all into that long cable. But I really recommend these Yagu are amazing. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start casting off all my stitches until the corner. I'm gonna place a marker in between the center stitch because we're gonna do increase, and then continue place the 2 markers between this one and the center and finish. We're gonna start on the right side, and then we're gonna start exactly the same as we did those 4 rows that we did it separate, but we're gonna do it together this time. You're gonna start doing the 6th stitch. When you get to the marker, you do your increase. You continue with the 6th stitch. When you get to the markers, you will do the increase, and you continue until the end. You turn your work around, you work the 6th stitch all the way back, and then the 3rd round or row, you will do again the increase, and the way back you don't do increase, and then number 5 you'll finish on this side. You will work only your 32 stitches on row 5, and then turn your work 6, 7, cast off on 8. You will put your 23 stitches on your and strand. If you want, you can attach it to this one if you like, or on another piece of yarn. Just place it there to hold those 23 stitches. You're gonna cast off all your stitches in here, and then in the corner here you will put your 23 stitches on a string or a piece of yarn, and then you will work your 32 stitches for row 5, 6, 7, and cast off an 8, and then we are ready to sew our pieces together. But I'm gonna work off camera the back because it's exactly the same as I just showed you, just doing it, you know, all the way, increasing in both corners. But remember, you have to keep with the 6th stitch. And remember, I'm gonna cast on my stitches with a smaller size needle because if I use the bigger size, the stitches are already too tight for me to place them on the needle. Before I start my work, I just wanted to show you the way this look once you put them on the needle. So remember, you have to do those increase in order for these to sit flat once you cast off your stitches, because if you don't do those increase, you see this is nice and flat because I did those increase. If not, it will be like this, round like this. So you have to make sure. So I'm gonna work off camera and I will meet you here when I'm ready to sew the piece together. I have the 3 piece ready. So now we're gonna sew this side, the other one, the shoulders, and we're gonna sew around here. That way we leave a little bit open for the front. So I'm gonna do that, and then after I will work on the sleeves. Well, I'm gonna finish part 1 of the video here because it's a little bit long to just do it in one video. I'm gonna do one of the sleeve off camera, and when we meet here next Wednesday, you will be ready to know exactly what I did in the first one, to do in the second one, and finish our beautiful sweater. Well, I wish you have a beautiful day. Bye.